So, Jason, you called my attention recently to a blog post from Google that came on February 6, 2026, that, among other things, it talks about what Google's approach to post-quantum cryptography and what it's done over the years, going back to 2016. But at the end of this post, there is a suggestion that policymakers, that policy should be affected by the quantum apocalypse, quantum computers, and the response to that, which is PQC.
Okay.
And in particular, they have 5 recommendations for policymakers. And, this is kind of an angle we don't really talk about. And I thought maybe we could just roll down their 5 recommendations and talk about what we think of them.
When I first came across this, I thought this was perfect for us. So let's hit all 5.
Okay, so recommendation number 1, this is called 5 actions policymakers can take to prepare for the quantum era. Number 1, drive society-wide momentum, especially for critical infrastructure.
Wow. That almost sounds like our Bruno Couillard episode.
Yeah.
In other words, we need to think about this wider.
Yeah, and I think we've seen a lot of this. Like, we talk about regulations like NIST guidance and things along those lines. I think we absolutely have seen governments putting these mandates out. But I think the point here, and I agree with, is there isn't a concept of too much, right? And even though we've been doing this kind of thing, we probably need to be doing more and greater.
Isn't that interesting, Tim?
Yeah.
Because we have people commenting, sometimes just for fun, maybe, to say things like, geez, why would there ever be a cryptographically relevant quantum computer? It's just too hard to do. And yet Google's saying, Google, who's probably maybe in a better position than anybody to understand where we're truly at with this type of computing, is saying, we understand the full implications of this, and it's so big, there's more to be done.
And I think you and I published an episode just this year where basically the point of it, which I firmly believe, is we don't even need to know that there will be a cryptographically relevant quantum computer. We just need to know that there might be.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
There has been other people, I won't attribute this to me. I've heard the other people say this, and I totally agree, that having new forms of cryptography, lattice-based cryptographic algorithms are a good idea anyway.
Yeah.
And regardless.
Even without PQC. Absolutely.
So when we talk to Dr. Dustin Moody, when we talk to Sophia Selly,
Michaela Mosca,
when we talk to any of those people, all the work they're doing, it doesn't matter if we ever get a cryptographically relevant quantum computer anyway.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, having all of our eggs in this RSA basket for 50 years could have ended very badly in the absence of a quantum computer if there had been an amazing breakthrough. And the fact that there wasn't an amazing breakthrough is our good fortune, but I think this is more a function of we went driving without a seatbelt on and we were lucky enough not to get in an accident than we were prepared for the scenario that we did.
Slight challenge to what you just said. Totally agree with all of it. But here's the challenge that I think we all need to understand. We did have a breakthrough.
That's fair.
And that breakthrough was an error handling, an error correction.
Yeah.
Which basically took even Michaela Mosca himself from saying, maybe. Because he admitted he was one of the naysayers, like, we'll never get there. It's too challenging.
Yep.
And then once he started to really look at it, he was the one who went, maybe. And that's scary enough.
Yeah.
But after error correction, stable qubits, not just raw qubits, but logical qubits that are error handled properly, Tim, this is no longer a, maybe. This is a, oh my God, I think the roadmaps might be right.
So in the last sentence of the paragraph they have on this one, I'm just going to read. We need to accelerate progress. So it's directly what you and I were saying. There is work being done. Google is of the opinion that there needs to be more and faster. Number 2, you're going to like this one, Jay. Ensure AI is built with PQC in mind.
Wow. What a smart statement
Right?
to make.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
How much of it do you think is right now?
Oh, none.
None?
None.
None percent?
None percent. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if we say AI is the room, and AI will be everywhere, and AI is the internet or World Wide Web of 2025 to 2026 to 2027, then you just have to assume that it is woven into the thread of our digital lives in every way. And that means that if we have a quantum computer vulnerable foundational technology that is woven into the thread of our digital lives in every way, the implications of that, the potential for vulnerability, is almost indescribably large.
Hey, did you see what happened to the price of Bitcoin after we released our Bitcoin episode
Yeah.
with Jeffries?
That's right.
I mean, you and I obviously crashed the price of Bitcoin.
Must be, yes.
There's no other
We're that,
explanation.
so that was the only possible explanation. Absolutely.
But the point being,
yeah.
yeah, man, when you look at the implications, they're not big.
They're big, right? And that's a great example of something that wouldn't necessarily immediately occur to even a smart, informed industry watcher that one of the implications of PQC is that cryptocurrencies will decrease in value.
Until it's all figured out.
Until it's all figured out. And how many of those other things are out there? All over.
Well, Bruno Couillard came on this podcast and painted the big picture. He said, we're going back to paper and pencils.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's, and that's not acceptable in our society.
Absolutely, right? I think Einstein said the next world war will be fought with stones, right? And it's a similar idea. Like if this all really goes badly, and we can't go back to paper and pencil. This is one of the points I've made in earlier things, is we can't go back to faxing things to each other because we don't have fax machines. And we can't go back to non-digital phone networks because they're all ripped out. And we can't handle the volume of everything we do. We can't go back to a non-digital financial system because there never was a non-digital financial system that could handle our current financial operations. Such a thing never existed.
Tim, you just made me think of another podcast we're going to do.
Okay,
Carry on.
good. Number 3, I like this one. Reduce global fragmentation. The basic idea here is all of us globally as humans need to be doing the same things, holding ourselves accountable to the same rules, having the same expectations, and doing it in the same way.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's always a tough one. And we run into this a lot. I don't want to tangent too badly, but there's a lot of conversations I think around AI I think have the same problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, big time.
All right. Number 4. This is one you might not think of immediately, but I agree with it. Promote cloud first modernization.
Oh, you mean I can't wrap my arms around my server box?
Right. Yeah.
My 1993 server box?
Yeah.
Oh my God, my emotional system's completely off now.
But
Where's my soother?
that box that's under my desk, I know where it is, and it keeps my feet warm in the winter. Yeah. No. Promote cloud first modernization. And this is a very consistent worldview with lots of stuff we see from Google. This is very much, obviously, philosophically, Google is a cloud first company in a big way. And we see that here.
Tim, they are. This is maybe that's the first one we've hit where some people might go bump and say, "Well, Google's just promoting their agenda." And my thought is, if you want to have something that approaches the future of business continuity, the ability to keep things secure, the ability to be able to have non-fragile systems in M&A scenarios, and yet you still want to have that server under your desk.
Yeah.
You're not going to achieve it that way. Google is telling you the truth.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, folks.
Absolutely. And I think another thing we've discussed long time ago in an episode about the fallacy of thinking that on-prem is more secure than in the cloud is just, I sit down and pick your favorite, whoever it's going to be. It could be, Google or Amazon or a bunch of others. Who's ultimately better at security and business continuity and uptime and predictability? Your organization with your IT team of 5 or 50, or these cloud infrastructure providers, these PaaS and EaaS providers who have what you would consider to be infinite resources?
The cloud, the one thing that it does for most organizations who are doing it correctly, Tim, is it forces them to write out their policy and write out their implementation and business continuity plans as code.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why people love having that server under their desk, keeping their feet warm, is they don't have to do that work. And yet it makes them more fragile.
Mm-hmm.
Because people think, well, I'll just re-image my box.
Yeah.
Well,
right. If I have to write it as code, there's a lot of advantages. It identifies problems with your policies. It identifies where your policies don't match what's actually happening and forces those to get rectified. It makes them auditable. It makes them discrete. It eliminates points of vagaries. Is that the word I want to say? It eliminates vagaries. All of these things come when you have to take these kind of mealy-mouthed, loosey-goosey policies and create them as discrete code.
Policy and governance ambiguity, which is what I think you're saying, is the enemy of agility of every kind.
Sure.
And if we're living in a world where AI is the room and cryptographic agility is an absolute requirement, hence what Google's talking about here, then you can't do this when you have operational governance risk-averse ambiguities. This is what Google's trying to. This is what they're actually trying to tell you.
Yeah. All right. Number 5. Now remember, they're talking to policymakers. Number 5 is lean on the experts to avoid strategic surprise.
No, you shouldn't listen to you and I.
Yeah. God forbid that policymakers listen to technologists. This is obviously one of my favorite hobby horses, is how policymakers, lawmakers, or institutional professional policymakers seem to feel that they can just ignore the lessons and the knowledge of the technology sector and somehow do a better job of tech than tech does. And, I can get me going, put a few beers in me, and I can bore you for hours with real life anecdotes about this disastrously failing. And this is the Google saying, listen, you've got to reach out to the people in the world who know this best and account for their worldview when you're putting these policies together.
Look, back in the day, I used to know a lot about ERP systems, etc. I'm glad that that's an obsolete piece of knowledge because I never want to go back there. But when it comes to things like cryptography, when it comes to things like certificate lifecycle management, this podcast is where you can come.
Yeah.
And I think you should be following. I'm so happy, Tim. We just published an episode on Dora and Niz 2.
Yeah.
And it really does look like they were listening to experts.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so it's great.
Oh yeah. The Dora and Niz 2 stuff, as we covered, I'm not going to belabor that, but it really is groundbreaking in how explicit and spot on it is.
Somebody did some hard thinking and listened to experts.
Yep, for sure.
Tim, that was an interesting list of 5 implications from Google with regards to PQC. And that first one, more, is probably counterintuitive to what a lot of people think, which is I think a lot of people want to put their ostrich heads in the ground and make it go away.
Yeah, for sure. This is the person who doesn't go to the doctor because they think they're going to get bad news, and not going to the doctor makes it worse. And again, those consequences, they don't care about whether or not you went to the doctor. That thing that's wrong is just wrong. And I think it's a similar thing here. I don't think that the attackers are going to sit and say, yeah, no, these are nice people and they don't really want to have a bad day, so I'm not going to use this exploit. I think they're just going to use the exploit.
Oh my God. Tim, we're at the end of the episode, but my goodness, I have this almost sinking feeling that Google is dead right and the rest of the world really, really is not hearing that message enough.
Yep. So, well, we're doing our part.
We're doing our part. Thank you, Tim.
All right. Thanks, Jay.